There are a ton of builds in Destiny, and with Frontiers on the horizon, I asked you all what you thought was the best build for every subclass on each class. Those votes and responses are what sparked this series to life, and I'm making these videos in hopes that they can be used as refreshers for current players and complete guides for new players looking to hop into the game. All of these builds will not be using the seasonal artifact and can be used in any endgame content that you would like to do. So if you want a build to work towards that should last theoretically forever, look no further. Once everything is posted, there will be a total of 18 builds for you to chase after, so if you're curious about another playstyle, definitely be sure to check them all out. I've been working on this project for quite a while, and it has definitely taken a long time, so I really hope you all can enjoy them. If it wasn't for you, series like this could not exist, so I just wanted to say thank you. And finally, if you are new here and enjoying the content, consider doing all the normal YouTube stuff and joining our Discord server. All of your support really does go a long way and is genuinely appreciated. But without further ado, thanks for clicking on the video, and let's jump right into the build. All right, this video is going to be a little different, as you could probably already tell. Typically, I just have solo GM gameplay. This build is not really catered towards that because this is more of a team-based build, and understanding everything with this build is what allows this build to be very strong in any in-game content that you would like to do. This is what most people use to do GMs with teammates, do any raid or dungeon that you could think of in the game, and even do contest mode. This is what I typically use going into any contest mode day one, and it is very, very strong. So first off, let's just take a look at our exotic helmet. This is going to be Speaker's Sight. This is the exotic perk, the Lost Voice. Healing grenades spawn a restorative turret. Healing allies occasionally spawns an orb of power. All right, so as you can see here, we have our healing grenade, and we can throw our healing grenade. It will work like a normal one, but now it's going to make this little turret. So whenever we're taking damage, it's going to actually shoot out these little orbs that will track you down and kill you. This can go for your allies and yourself. So as you see right there, we just received one. But all you have to do is take damage, and you're going to be healed by this turret that will sit there for a good amount of time. The other benefit is that healing allies is also going to spawn orbs of power, and this is going to work with any form of healing. And that is going to be important because of our subclass. But first off, let's take a look at our aspects before we get into that. So our first aspect is just going to be Touch of Flame. So this is going to buff your grenades, and obviously since we're on the healing grenade, it's going to buff that. So we're going to get a better cure and a better restoration. Touch of Flame is very good with this because the healing turret that you do throw, if it does heal you with the little seeker orbs, that will give you ×2 restoration instead of ×1, and the initial throw of the healing turret will also do ×2 cure. So overall, it just buffs the healing turret, and it's for sure definitely one that you want to take. Now the next aspect is actually going to be Hellion. So activate your class ability to summon a solar mortar that lobs flaming projectiles at distant targets. Targets damaged by the mortar are scorched. So if we come up here, as you see, if we use our class ability, we're going to get a little solar buddy that will constantly just shoot out and scorch targets. It honestly does do a good amount of damage, and obviously if you stack up a bunch of scorch stacks, you will ignite a target, which can do a good amount of damage. As you see, just on these red bars, it takes one shot to kill them. It's pretty good, again, for just adding additional damage, but this is going to play further into our subclass. But before we mention that, let's go over the abilities really quick. Obviously, we're running the healing grenade. Next up, I like running Celestial Fire because of our fragments. It has a very long range, so it'll make more sense once we get into those. I like running Phoenix Staff, but just know that Healing Rift or Empowering Rift also can work with this build. Phoenix Staff just has a lower cooldown. It's a lot quicker. It's a lot more fluid to me, but obviously, if you do run something like a Rift, it will last a lot longer, and I do swap this out for Healing Rift from time to time, especially in things like contest mode, just so I can have a form of healing all the time on the ground. And again, the heal from Healing Rift and Phoenix Staff will play into everything in the build. And then finally, the super Wall of Radiance is typically what I take, but Song of Flame is also a very good super. These are probably some of the two strongest supers in the game on the Warlock, so obviously you can swap this out just for whatever you're doing. Wall of Radiance is typically the go-to though. Now for the fragments, this is where the build gets really, really fun. First off, we have Ember of Singeing, so your class ability recharges faster when you scorch targets. So if we come up here, we'll scorch a target, but the cool part about this is since your class ability also makes a mortar that can scorch targets, basically you can use your class ability, scorch the target, and now look at the cooldown. It just comes back extremely fast. This is going to give you a 400% increase to your cooldown rate. Just one Hellion almost got it back to half. So imagine if you keep spreading Scorch everywhere, you're going to have this up 24/7, which again, if you run Phoenix Staff, you can heal. Healing Rift, you can heal with the pool on the ground. And if you have something like Healing Rift, obviously, since it's on the ground, you're going to start recharging the class ability. So you can pretty much just keep looping these over and over again with this fragment. The next up, it's going to be Ember of Benevolence. So whenever you apply Restoration, Cure, or Radiant to allies, it's going to grant you increased grenade, melee, and class ability cooldown. This is another 400% for everything, 400% on top of the class ability. Once again, you're going to get your class ability back so fast. Have a teammate run through a Healing Rift, scorch a target, you're going to get this back literally instantly. Now, the other benefits, again, is to get your grenade back. So obviously, you can throw more healing turrets. You can use your Celestial Fire more, which is going to play into our next fragment. But overall, Ember of Benevolence is just what makes this build so strong, and you can basically just ability spam everywhere. Now, our next fragment is going to be Ember of Torches. So whenever we get a powered melee attack, it will make us and nearby allies radiant. This is great because Celestial Fire is that long range melee. It is extremely easy to hit a target with this, so you're always going to be radiant pretty much permanently because of things like Ember of Benevolence. And also our next fragment, Ember of Singeing. So whenever we defeat a scorched target, it's going to grant us melee energy and create a fire sprite. The fire sprite's nice because that will actually give us more grenade energy when we pick it up, but also we're going to be scorching everything with this build between our weapon, our Hellion, our melee itself. That means we're going to just get even more melee energy back. Pairing that with the Benevolence cooldown, you're basically going to have your abilities just come back all the time. It is ridiculously strong. If we come over here and start killing scorched targets with our Hellion, as you can see, the melee is already starting to chunk back, and I'm literally basically doing nothing, and this is without Benevolence proc. But now let's get into the weapons. For primaries, you definitely want to run some sort of incandescent or healing weapon. This can be things like No Hesitation or just a weapon with Heal Clip Incandescent. Since Heal Clip technically is applying a cure to your allies, this will proc things like Ember of Benevolence, so you're going to get this proc all the time just from your weapon, not even your subclass or your healing turret or anything of the sort. Now your weapon can also proc it. And with Incandescent, since you are spreading Scorch everywhere, everything that we were just talking about that applies Scorch, you know, getting the cooldown with Singeing, getting the melee energy, you're going to also be able to proc this. So you're going to have a constant uptime of having this Scorch on targets. I will say it's not as necessary for Incandescent because you do have things like Hellion all the time anyway, Scorch a target. So you're pretty much going to have it all the time. But if you just want that extra security of it, just run an Incandescent weapon. And it's not like Incandescent is a trash perk. It's a very good perk as it is, and you can spread Ignites because of all the other scores that you are applying. Now, I will say, I 100% think the best weapon to run with this build, I think it was crafted for this build, is going to be the No Hesitation. Not only does it have Incandescent like we were just talking about, but it also has Demolitionist. Now, the cool benefit of this is that this is a support frame. You can basically build up a charge meter by doing damage, and then you can heal your allies. So if we come over here, we already have the meter charge, but we can basically hip fire the gun. And if there was an ally nearby, we would start consuming the charge, but we would heal our allies. This healing will apply Restoration, which obviously is going to play back into our subclass, which will proc things like Ember of Benevolence once again. So you have a weapon that is not only healing your allies for a support-based build, you have a healing turret also doing it, but you're also going to be able to proc every single one of your fragments with the setup. So again, you have Restoration, you have Scorch, which is literally covering everything, and it's a good ad clear perk. It's a very good team-based perk, and then with the added benefit with No Hesitation, you can run something like Demolitionist, which means every time you get a kill, you're going to get grenade energy back. So essentially, every time you're getting Scorch kills, you're getting melee energy. Now, every kill you get with No Hesitation, you're getting grenade energy to spam your healing turret. So again, with all of this combined, you're going to be able to spam all three of your abilities in any team-based scenario, and you could straight up just carry a team if you can get this down correctly. And for the other weapons, it's totally up to you. For your heavy, run whatever's in the ball CPS meta. You could even maybe run stuff like Tractor Cannon if you were really going into a super support-based build. For your primary, again, anything that's very good, Tenacious with Chill Clip. You could even maybe run something like the Navigator, again, if you really want to play into that support-based build. But I promise you, just with No Hesitation and the subclass alone, it is way more than enough. And for the stats of this build, definitely go with the 100 Resilience, get your 30% damage reduction, 100 Discipline for sure, so you can spam your healing turret a lot more often. And then on top of that, I go with 90 Recovery because I want to spam my class ability as much as possible. You're going to be able to get these back quick anyway, and if you want to opt in to take Recovery out and put some more strength, you could totally do that as well, because Recovery is not really doing much other than just getting your class ability back faster, but getting that class ability back is great because you're going to be able to have this Hellion or Helion up 24/7. But for the armor mods, this is what I'm running if you would like to copy them down. But as a closer look for our helmet, I do like to run a Harmonic Siphon, so Rapid Solar Weapon Final Blows will make it overpower. Since No Hesitation is a solo weapon, Harmonic Siphon is great because it only costs 1 energy. You're going to be able to make orbs now for you and your team. This can give them and yourself armor charge and play into things like our boot mods. The next up is going to be hands-on, so we can bonus super energy on melee kills. This is also good since we can spam our melee a lot. We just get some extra super energy. Things like assets obviously isn't going to work because our grenade does not do damage. And then dynamos, so whenever we use our class ability near enemies, we'll get some super cooldown. This is again also great since we can spam our class ability quite a lot. We could just get some extra super energy to now spam Well of Radiance is a lot. Now for our arms, again, a harmonic loader, so I can increase your load speed of my No Hesitation. And then next up is impact reduction and focusing strikes. Whenever I cause damage with a power melee attack, I'm going to get grenade cooldown, and then I'm also going to get class ability cooldown. Once again, grenade mods aren't going to work here because your grenade's not actually doing damage, but since you can throw your melee all the time and you want to get Radiant and also to proc Ember of Benevolence, you're going to be able to proc these all the time as well to further play into more ability spam. Now for our chest piece, always go with resistant mods to swap this out for whatever content that you are going into. And then for our boots, I do like to run a recuperation, so whenever I pick an orb up, I will get health back. You honestly don't need this too much because the survivability with this build is already insane, but this just adds an extra layer to it. But if you want to swap this out for getting more ability energy to spam more abilities, you totally could. But for spamming abilities, I do like running Innervation and Absolution. Innervation will give me grenade energy whenever I pick up an orb. You want to spam your grenade as much as possible because you can have multiple healing turrets up at all times. And then with Absolution, you're going to get cooldown for everything. Mainly, this is good because this will stack on top of Innervation. If you run double Innervation, you actually won't get as much energy than if you were to just run an Innervation and an Absolution. So with this, you're getting more grenade energy and you're also getting melee and class ability, which also you want to spam as well. So again, you're going to be able to spam these all the time. And then finally for our class item, I do like to run a bomber since I can spam my class ability a lot. I'm now going to get extra grenade energy, which is great. Powerful attraction, so I'll pick up all the orbs around me when I use my class ability. This is also very, very good to take. And then special finisher, so whenever I have max armor charge, I can go for a finish and I will make special ammo for me and my team. Since this is a very support based build, you can now just make special ammo for your team all the time. Now, if you want to, in most cases, in something like a contest mode, I will swap these two mods out for something like a heavy ammo finder and a heavy ammo scout, so I can make extra heavy ammo, and that heavy ammo I'm making also is going to be made for my team. This is very good, especially pairing that with special finisher, because you're basically just being able to print ammo for your team while also constantly buffing them with extra damage and healing them all the time. Now, like I do at the end of all these videos, you don't need a single perk from the artifact to make this build work. The subclass, the synergies, and everything just alone is already ridiculously strong. But obviously, if Frontiers comes around, there's stuff to do with Restoration, Cure, Scorch, anything of the sort. Definitely be sure to click on them, and it's going to make this already strong build even stronger. And then for the absolute final part of the build, this is the Transmog I'm running. Obviously, I went for a very sleek fire themed look here. I took advantage of some of the solar themed ornaments. I have the speaker side ornament on as well. Overall, I think it turned out looking pretty cool. If you want to make your Warlock look like this, definitely be sure to copy it down. But all right, that's going to do it all for me. I'm going to do this intro with just the camera up, which is typically not how I do it. But obviously, as always, if you were a veteran player, watch this all the way through. I truly appreciate it. I hope you at least learned one thing new. And if you are a new or returning player, I wish you all the best of luck putting this build together for yourself. But anyway, that's going to do it all for me. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. Peace.